There's an interesting thing that Emmanuel Rodriguez says from Quinto. I think this death could have been prevented if in the United States they had a penal code for the resolution of judicial cases instead of depending on previous cases. And this is absolutely true. A difference between the United States and Argentina is that in Argentina we have what is called a penal code. A penal code is basically a set of rules that apply to all criminals. In the United States, they don't have that. They always base their decisions, the judges based their decisions on previous cases. What's something that it's called jurisprudencia in here in Argentina. So they often base their cases on decisions that judges have made before. But in these cases, since these kinds of crimes are not talked about, are not brought to justice as much as other crimes, then there are not enough decisions or judgings or rulings to be able to be effective towards these people that commit these kind of crimes, especially policemen. So that's why it's like a little weird. It's effed up, honestly. Then Luisa from Quintoal also, she says, I totally think his death could have been prevented, but not in that moment, but from the root of the big problem of systematic racism. Taking systematic racism out could have helped a lot. But United States is a country that has an extended history about racism, which is still present in many people and it's very difficult to outgrow. This is a very interesting term that she introduced, which is very like which is super complicated to explain. It's a very important topic to discuss. It's rooted in ancient Greece. There were slaves there, and those slaves were mainly black or dark colored people, and it developed from country to country, from kingdom to kingdom, until what we have today. We may be facing some issues in a good way, but the root, the nucleus, the core, it's still very far from being resolved. Systematic racism is a problem that we still deal with today, and it's something that is very hard to. You have to intervene education and culture. You have to review history in a certain way. The economy is also entwined with this systematic racism. Um, that's why you see more black people being poor and being discriminated and being marginalized. So it's a very important concept. Thank you, Lisa, for telling us about it. Then she says, I agree on the reaction of people towards the police, like shouting and trying to protect other protesters. No justice, no peace. That's the main logo of this campaign. But I take attacking innocent people or looting separated from the protesters. And this is very important as well. There's been a lot of riots since protests began, and there's been a lot of looting. What is looting? It's taking things that don't belong to you by force. It's like stealing, but way more violent and in mass, like with a lot of people. It's not the solution. It's definitely not what it's important right now, but it's not also something that you should just brush off, just like forget, because those aren't protesters, those are people that have taken advantage of this situation to satisfy selfish needs and do not, I repeat, do not think they are part of the movement, because they're not. They're just opportunists. And then um, Tommy Rodriguez from Quinto A says, nor is it necessary to generalize, since I have seen videos of police officers who help with movements, because it is not the job but the unpleasant mentality that people have with those thoughts. I like to finish with this thought, because there are black policemen. There are diverse, very diverse policemen in the police force. With more diversity, I think, in the police department, we can get minorities to feel safer around police officers. For example, I've seen a show or a reality show, I don't know, like a documentary about a San Francisco Police Department, which has not only black police officers, but Latinos, Asians, and they are very, very acceptant of gay police officers and trans police officers, which is great because not only they get invited to Pride a lot and they march in the little walkabout, but community feels safer with them around because they feel represented in that police department. So I think that's a really good step on the right direction. And regarding me, I think you know my stance on this topic, and I think you already, if you know me, you already know my ideology. But I think we should take care of each other because we're not labels. We're not black, white, gay, straight, poor, rich. We're humans. We're all in this together, and the world is not in the best state it has been, and we should keep together and we should try to fight with uh, everybody else and not against them. So I think this should be solved as quickly as possible and with as much justice as the world can give. But yeah, thank you for all your contributions. I'm glad you have these opinions because you are adults. You're basically adults right now, so we need more people like you. I'm sorry I couldn't. I have my ebook here. I'm sorry I couldn't add all the comments that I received because there were many, but I tried to incorporate as much people as I could. But you're a lot, so so yeah, this is gonna be a long video. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so thank you. I'll see you next week. We'll see each other in teams now, so remember teams. And yeah, let's just try to keep ourselves together. I'll miss you lots, and goodbye.